Hello, Taylor Elwood with Magical Experiments, and this week I thought I would start exploring the power of definitions within magic. When we think of the word definition, it's usually used to provide an explanation for what something means. For example, with magic, a commonly used definition is the art and science of causing change to occur in conformity with will. What this really tells us, though, is that how we define something is really significant to what we're going to do with it. It's a really significant aspect of magical work to address that sometimes is forgotten about. Definitions provide us parameters. They provide limits in some ways. They provide context. They explain why something is the way that it is. And why that's significant is because when we're doing magical work, we really want to be clear and specific on what it is that we're working with. So definitions help us to do that. I see definitions as an essential form of magical work. An important thing to understand about definitions is that they don't describe what something is. They don't describe the essence, the ontological reality of it. What they describe is how somebody thinks it ought to be. The significance of that really is that everybody has their own agency, their own agenda for defining something the way they do. Going back to Crowley's definition of magic, he had his own agenda, his own reasoning for using those particular words to define magic in the way that he did. Whether we accept that definition or not is ultimately up to us, but it's important to recognize that that definition doesn't describe what magic is, it describes what someone thinks magic ought to be. Very crucial understanding of definition right there. And so when we look at magical work, and really when we look at anything, we really want to recognize that how we're approaching it, how we're defining it, is an important part of the actual process of magic that we're working with. And we need to accept and understand that how we define something does have an agenda there, and so if we're using someone else's definition, we're also using their agenda. We're following up on their agenda as opposed to really exploring why that definition is the one we're choosing to use. So when you're going out there and you're using definitions, take some time to consider that. Why am I using that definition? What's the real agenda behind it? And I would suggest starting with the definition of magic. Why use someone else's definition of magic? Why use Crowley's definition of magic? So many people use Crowley's definition of magic. Please use a different definition of magic. Please, I beg you. Use your own. Come up with your own definition of magic that describes what your relationship with magic is and describes how you think magic relates to the world. Don't use someone else's definition. And the reason why is because you're following their agenda. And their agenda may not even be in alignment or in favor of yours. So think about the current that you're manifesting into the world and ask yourself if that's really what you want to manifest. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, please subscribe.